Good afternoon. Buenas tardes. Es un placer darles la bienvenida a la 33ª celebración anual de graduación en el American School de Valencia.
Good afternoon. It is a great honor to welcome you to the 33rd annual graduation ceremony at the American School of Valencia.
Para empezar, vamos a recibir a nuestros alumnos con un gran aplauso.
To begin with, let's welcome our graduates with a grand round of applause.
La ceremonia de graduación comienza con el discurso de bienvenida del Salutatorian. El Valedictorian y el Salutatorian son dos distinciones que se otorgan respectivamente al estudiante con el mejor y el segundo mejor expediente académico de la clase que se gradúa.
The graduation ceremony begins with the welcome speech delivered by the salutatorian. The valedictorian and salutatorian are two distinctions awarded to the students with the highest and second highest GPA in the graduating class, respectively.
El rol tradicional del Salutatorian, el segundo mejor expediente, es actuar como el primer orador de la ceremonia y por tanto es el encargado de pronunciar el discurso de bienvenida.
The traditional role of the salutatorian, who has the second highest GPA, is to serve as the first speaker of the ceremony and therefore is responsible for delivering the welcome speech.
Este año, debido a circunstancias muy especiales y por primera vez en los 33 años de historia de nuestra ceremonia de graduación, concedemos 2 premios Salutatorian y 2 premios Valedictorian. Un empate en lo más alto del ranking académico que demuestra no solo el extraordinario rendimiento de estos estudiantes, sino también el nivel de dedicación, perseverancia y excelencia que caracteriza esta promoción.
This year, due to very special circumstances, and for the first time in the 33-year history of our graduation ceremony, we are awarding 2 salutatorian and 2 valedictorian honors. A tie at the very top of the academic ranking reflects not only the students' extraordinary academic achievements, but also the remarkable level of dedication, perseverance, and excellence that defines this graduating class.
Detrás de estas cifras tan extraordinarias hay un camino recorrido que solo los 4 galardonados conocen plenamente. Un camino marcado por el compromiso, la disciplina y las incontables horas de trabajo y esfuerzo invertidas a lo largo de estos años. Cada número esconde una historia de constancia y superación personal que hoy queremos reconocer.
Behind those exceptional numbers lies a journey that only the 4 awardees truly understand, a journey shaped by commitment, discipline, and countless hours of hard work and effort invested over the years. Each number tells a story of perseverance and personal growth that we are proud to recognize today.
Demos la bienvenida a los salutatorian del curso 2025, Inés Artero Zayas y Tegan James Moran.
Please welcome the 2025 salutatorians, Inés Artero Zayas and Tegan James Moran.
Good afternoon. It is an honor to be a member of the class of 2025. I have been a part of the ASV community since preschool, and these last 2 years have left the largest footprint on my personality and behavior. If I had more time, I would go into detail about every class from 11th and 12th grade. Instead, I will be using my English class as an example. After I contextualize the environment I have grown up in. Por un lado, en mi casa se han reforzado las enseñanzas del colegio y se me ha proporcionado un ambiente tranquilo y acogedor mientras estudiaba. Las melodías más comunes de mi hogar han sido un boli escribiendo, el pasto de una hoja y un teclado. Una melodía por miembro, una orquesta silenciosa que me acompañaba en la reflexión y concentración, apoyándome a subir este primer escalón hacia mis objetivos. Gracias, mamá y papá. I have also learned that reading is like a tree. Initially, one establishes the best conditions for a plant to grow in, like learning how to read English. Afterwards, one plants a seed, such as being encouraged to read and continue working during the summer. Eventually, everything is set into place and a love for reading begins to sprout, until finally, critical thinking flourishes. This is how I discovered my favorite genre to read, while I was doing my summer homework a year in middle school. Now, I enjoy unraveling the extensive layers of classic books like The Lord of the Flies by William Golding. I'm leaving with the knowledge that summer is valuable because I can rest without pausing my academic growth. Furthermore, playing a sport is a way of introducing a physical activity into a daily routine, because it reinforces the ability to concentrate. Another of my passions is golf. It is a game of honesty where one improves in the face of adversity. It was on the golf course where I learned how to handle failure and stress so as not to limit myself. Just as Thomas à Kempis said in the 14th century, the measure of every man's virtue is best revealed in the face of adversity. In his book, The Imitation of Christ, he also goes into detail about the importance of being humble and hardworking. Nowadays, I apply his perspective to my studies. On the other hand, I am also leaving with a life lesson I learned with Mrs. Peters. In English class, we have been preparing for selectividad, but I have also learned how to create a bridge of words across a river of ambiguity. We have seen 3 types of clay to mold: how to elevate a formal letter for academic and professional environments, how to narrate small stories with big morals, and how to make an argument in a respectful dialogue to exchange points of view. Out of the pottery I have created with this clay in the course of 2 years, multiple adults outside of school have expressed admiration for my ability to present precise points with relevant evidence and in improvised conversations. Every time I look back, I am reminded of the leadership traits I displayed those times. Because I controlled my argument, I was confident. Because I understood where they were coming from, I was respectful. Nevertheless, I only achieved this skill because I was attentive during Mrs. Peters' classes. So the praise is not only for me. It is also for the person with the ability to teach me. Thank you, Mrs. Peters. Ultimately, my knowledge is the addition of every footprint teachers and other staff have left throughout my life. Moreover, to everyone that has taught me these last 2 years and has equipped me with the necessary knowledge to face any adversity in university, thank you.
Hello and welcome. Hola y bienvenidos. Class of 2025. There are 365 days in a year. That's 8,760 hours. Of those 8,760 hours, we spent about 966 of them physically at school this year. Of course, this is not including all the time we spent studying, but when you think about it, it's really not that long. Well, it seems that most of our time is consumed by school. In reality, we are only physically there for 11% of our time throughout the year. A mere 11%. Valuing this 11%, to me, was an important part of my senior year, and let me tell you why. After being at ASV for 6 years, I had come to find it as a very special place. This being my final year, before school began, way back in September, I wrote down that I would be smiling through senior year. What I meant by that was that I would try and do my best to enjoy and relish my final year at ASV. I knew that someday I would look back on high school and remember the good times I had, so I wanted to really live those moments to the fullest, even if some of them were slightly boring. I'm a believer that there is beauty in the mundane, and finding that beauty is an art. So I tried. I stopped listening to music on the bus ride home and instead began conversation, threw around jokes, laughed, and smiled. In class, I would pay attention not just to teaching, but also the teachers, the students, and my surroundings. Just being completely present and absorbing the high school memories that I knew I would cherish. During study halls, if I had the decision to either lock in on work or chat with friends, I would, without a second thought, choose the latter. Not because I was procrastinating work, but because I was prioritizing people. There was also a lot of basketball being played with my friends during those study halls, and retroactively, I would now like to take the chance to apologize to all the teachers I had to tell white lies to. I'll just come out and say it, Miss Sandra, I was in fact not in the bathroom for a whole hour. I was playing basketball. I apologize, but I do not regret, because those moments are some of my fondest memories in high school. While I was on my journey to find beauty in this 11%, I began to notice things. I began to notice that I, like many of you, was getting distracted from enjoying my 11% because of school. There's a quote that I like that goes as follows: "Don't let school get in the way of your education." This is not to say that school is not a place where education happens, but that occasionally we forget what education is all about. There was a point during the school year where, I'm sure like many of you, I felt that school was becoming pointless and indeed getting in the way of my education. I didn't feel like I was learning. It felt like I was doing tests, checking off assignments, and doing as I was told. Sometimes as students, we become so wrapped up in studying for tests, getting good grades, and absorbing information that we forget what we are here for: to learn. Learning comes in many forms, but if we have tunnel vision on turning in assignments on Google Classroom, it is easy to miss the valuable learning moments that we attend school for. Personally, I believe that I've learned more this year than any other year because of my ambitious goal to be present during the entire 966 hours of my school year. Here's an example of what I learned because I was paying attention. Being a pre-K through 12 school, as we grow older and become more focused on academics, the younger kids walking the hallways begin to fade out of existence. For me, this was not the case. I paid attention to each little kid giving out high fives and learning their names throughout the school year. I learned 3 things from this mundane act. Firstly, that some kids are absolute savages and will rip off your hands if given a chance. And secondly, on a more serious note, I learned that little acts like this cost me nothing and have the ability to brighten up a young kid's day. I know that when I was little, if a big kid came up to me, called me by my name, and gave me a high five, that would be one of the greatest days of my little existence. Lastly, I learned that the positive energy that young kids have on a constant basis is infectious, and that if we can be positive, it may have an effect on the next person we meet. I believe that if we seek to be present and conscientious in the 11% of whatever we do, that we can learn a lot, especially if we try to learn by example. The school contains many people to take notes from. Mr. Boyer for his constant kindness and patience, Miss Veronica for her warmth and understanding, Miss Kay for her dedication, Coach Ballester for his passion, Mr. Ojolati for proving that you can be a great coach and also a great DJ. That's DJ Cozy over there, if you didn't know. The lunch staff, Estrella and Maria Jesus for their positive attitudes, and also shout out to them for always serving me extra food. Mr. Fahy for his inspiration and creativity, and Mr. Moline for his influential enthusiasm. There are many more people at ASV who can learn a few things from by just noticing their behaviors, but I believe that these are some of the unsung heroes that don't get the credit they deserve for making ASV the learning experience that it truly is. You can also learn a lot when you pay attention to your friends. TJ, thank you for teaching me positivity. Leo, thank you for teaching me thoughtfulness. Patrick, thank you for teaching me hard work and time management. Ismail, thank you for teaching me craftiness. Sergi, thank you for teaching me resilience. And Santi, thank you for teaching me tranquility. Class of 2025, we have all taught each other in one way or another, whether it be quickly teaching content to a friend who hadn't studied for a test, or teaching your peers valuable lessons of character through your actions. Our families also teach us more than we can understand, and we must say our thanks to our teachers out of the 11% when we get the chance. Thank you, Mom, for teaching me kindness. Thank you, Dad, for teaching me determination. Thank you, Reed, for teaching me persistence. He'll be up here in a couple of years, I guarantee it. And thank you, Mava, for being my role model and teaching me how to be a good person. Throughout the 966 hours of this school year, there have been ups and there have been downs for all of us. but it's what we take away from those moments that form us into the people we are today. I now ask that you take a look around, interact with your peers, and be truly present in our last 3-ish hours as ASV students, and really savor the emotions that accompany this wonderful experience. Thank you so much, and go ASV Sharks.
Thank you, Inés Santigan. Es para nosotros un gran placer y honor presentarles ahora a nuestra estimada invitada, Miss Catherine Madles. Como agente consular de los Estados Unidos en Valencia, trae consigo una gran experiencia y conocimientos. Hoy, Miss Madles dirigirá algunas palabras a nuestra clase de graduados. Démosle una cálida bienvenida.
It is a great pleasure to honor that we introduce to our esteemed guest, Ms. Catherine Matlis. As U.S. Consular Agent in Valencia, she brings with her a wealth of experience and insights. Today, Ms. Matlis will be addressing a few words to our graduating class. Please join us giving a warm welcome to her.
Dear families, faculty, staff, friends, and most of all, graduates, thank you so much for the honor of being here with you today. It's truly a joy to celebrate this milestone with you. Not because you're marking the end of a chapter, but because you're standing at the beginning of something wide open and full of possibility. This moment belongs to all of you. You are the class of 2025. You've grown up bridging cultures, learning different languages, and learning different ways of thinking. You've studied through global upheaval, digital classrooms, social shifts that have changed how we learn and live, COVID, and most recently, you've lived through a natural disaster that didn't just test infrastructure, it tested our communities, our resilience, and our sense of connection. I live in one of the towns affected by the flood. You might have heard of Betty Tousse. I saw the damage. I felt the uncertainty. But more than that, I saw something else, something far more powerful. I saw so many of you, young, wonderful, future leaders of this world, show up. Young people with boots and gloves, with open hearts and rolled up sleeves, ready to help neighbors, strangers, anyone who needed it. You stepped up without being asked. You gave your time, your energy, and your care. And you, all of you, restored my faith in humanity. And now, it's your graduation day, and this moment comes with so much pressure. What's your major? Where are you going to college? What are your future plans? These questions, they come so fast and they come so often, as if your life's purpose should be typed out in bullet points starting now. So let me ask you something, and I really want you to think about it for a second. What kind of life do you want to build? Not what degree do you want, not what college will you attend, but what kind of life? One filled with curiosity, creativity, quiet impact, or bold innovation? Do you want a life where you build community? Do you want to create, to explore, to lead, to contribute, to grow something that matters, not just to others, but to you? When I saw you helping after the floods, I saw what that kind of life can look like. That wasn't just volunteering. That was initiative. That was care in motion. That was a life that makes a difference. Not through fame or fortune, but through effort, being there, and purpose. So when I ask what kind of life you want to build, I ask it with deep respect, because I've already seen glimpses of the answer in many of you. And here's what I would tell my 18-year-old self, and what I'll tell you now. You don't need a perfect plan. My own path wasn't linear. I started as a Spanish teacher. Then I decided to come to Spain and teach English. And then I translated documents in a company for about 5 years, and that was not glamorous at all, but I learned a lot about language. Later, I became the director of a cultural center, and then a Fulbright program officer, and now I'm a U.S. consular agency. And in this role, I have the great privilege of doing what really truly fulfills me, and that's helping U.S. citizens when they need it most, whether it's replacing a lost passport or stepping in during a crisis, like the recent floods. If there's a thread through all of that, it's that I never, ever had a perfect plan. But I always had a willingness to keep learning, to say yes to change, and to follow the questions that mattered the most to me. I've worked with so many students over the years. I've seen some take unexpected turns. Some chose smaller colleges. Some chose trade school, or they decided to take a gap year. Some received Fulbright awards. They crossed oceans to teach, to research, and to grow. Not because somebody else mapped it out for them, but because they were true to themselves. They trusted their instincts. And so here's what I've learned. Success, it isn't always loud. Sometimes it looks like listening when others won't. Sometimes it looks like starting over. Sometimes it looks like staying grounded even when it's really difficult. So when you think about the life you want to build, don't just think about what you'll do. Think about what kind of person you want to be. Many of you have already learned to move between different worlds. You understand tradition and you understand change. You've learned to adapt. That is not a skill, that is a superpower, by the way. So wherever you go next, university, work, travel, or something entirely new, carry this with you. You don't need to be the loudest voice in the room, just the most honest one. Make mistakes, learn from them. Stay curious, be generous. Leave every space better than you found it. And wherever you go, carry a little of this beautiful, beautiful city with you. The sun, the rhythm, the spirit. And know that there are many people in your family and in your community who will be cheering you on. Congratulations, class of 2025. I can't wait to see what you build next.
Thank you, Ms. Catherine Marles. Ahora daremos la bienvenida a Israel García Rico, presidente del Consejo de Administración.
Now we welcome Israel García Rico, the President of the Board of Governors.
Well, first of all, when 3 months ago, I drove back home some of you after a basketball practice, I didn't realize that we had the salutatorian within the group, so I guess that was an important ride. Okay, so dear parents, faculty, staff, United States consular agent, head of a school, principals, and students. Yes, this is the next speech, possibly the most boring one, but the good news is that there is one less before you collect your diploma, so I'll try to be brief. First of all, I propose that you look ahead. You see them, don't you? Your parents, teachers, and coaches, some brave women and men, because it takes courage, as your teachers do, to face the demands of your daily education, your childhood and adolescence. That effervescent stage of your lives that, let's admit it, is not a very simple stage. They deal with your illusions, with the small and large incidents of your growth, with your expectations, your insecurities and pride, and with your legitimate rebellions. Kneading that, shaping it, and turning it all into the food for your growth is, believe me, a huge and complex task. Only someone who is well prepared, very resilient, and very determined, like your teachers, can face this task. And your parents. They were bold in choosing for you an education that is very different from that which is generally given in the rest of the country, and in accepting that this entails a sacrifice and a greater effort than that made by other families in other schools. And they did it because they were convinced that this was the best education they could give you for the rest of your lives, the best foundation on which you will chart your own path. I know that you don't always, or well, maybe almost never, agree with them, parents and teachers, but it is worth stopping for a moment, and this is the perfect occasion to do so, and reflect on the values that ultimately led you to the finish line that in a few minutes you are going to cross. Values that, by the way, are part of the DNA of America that I will illustrate with two historical examples. We are going to go back 2.5 centuries, to Christmas 1776, when the first full year of the American Rebellion was ending. Sure enough, it had been the first complete year, and it had been a complete disaster. George Washington, our first protagonist, and his Continental Army had lost a series of important battles. His army was decimated. The British positions were clearly superior. The American Continental Congress had even evacuated Philadelphia. It was over, really over. The Continental Army led by Washington had retreated and momentarily protected itself across the winter-frozen Delaware River. But this was only temporary. Spring would bring the final attack of the British Army, and with it, the definitive victory and end of the experiment in American independence. That was the universal assumption: diminished forces, harsh winter, running out of space to retreat, and a powerful army just in front of his face on the other side of the river. However, in that scenario, perhaps understanding all that the final defeat meant for the young nation, Washington did the opposite of what everyone, without exception, expected. The opposite of what was obvious, the opposite of what was safe. He decided to attack at Trenton and cross the river. On Christmas, he motivated his army and persuaded himself and his soldiers that the unexpected was still likely, and it happened. Electrified by the result of the raid across the river, in 9 days of daring, the Continental Army achieved a series of victories. The rest is history. Let's move forward a century, to the origins of a genuinely American industry, aviation, the first step towards the conquest of unknown horizons. In 1887, a little baby girl was born in Atchison, Kansas, named Amelia. Young Amelia grew up in an unkind context, forced to move from place to place due to the work needs of her alcoholic father. One of his frequent moves led him to California in 1920, where by chance she made her first flight. It captivated her. She decided she wanted to be an aviation pioneer. Stop for a minute to think about what that meant for a woman at that time and in that industry. Miss Earhart, as her last name was, experienced the full gamut of a pioneering explorer. In 1923, she already had her aviator's license. In those years, aviation safety was not even developed, and aircrafts were very slow and very unstable. As a result, Earhart suffered several flight accidents. Time to quit? Amelia's response was to set a new world record for altitude in flight amongst a series of other aviation records. And from there, the explosion. The first woman to cross the Atlantic, first woman to fly solo, the first pilot to do it twice, and the record for the fastest crossing. In 1934, she announced that she would make a flight across the Pacific, which was very dangerous due to the wind changes and distance. 10 pilots had tried before and died. She managed to complete the crossing between Hawaii and California, the first pilot to do so. Finally, she disappeared trying to complete the first circumnavigation of the globe across the equator line. All this tells us that, as happened to Washington and Earhart and to any of us, sooner or later you will have to face less pleasant circumstances. There will be hard days of work to become experts in any field. The circumstantial absence of recognition, a bad boss, the loss or distance from your loved ones, or simply a failing romance. That will happen. In those very moments, it's your choice, and your only choice, to surrender or to convert your failure into the first step towards your success to come. It's your choice, and your only choice, to think about the boldness and resilience that your parents, teachers, and some exemplary lives teach us. You are lucky to have mentors in front of you who have given you the tools, who love you, and who will continue to support you. Your responsibility now is to take what it is given to you and achieve your goals, whatever they may be. When you get up tomorrow morning, or in the evening after a long party, with those sleepy eyes and maybe some headaches, please reflect on it and move forward with that conviction. It's all what we want for you and the evidence that our work has been properly done. But for the time being, please also savor your achievement. Cherish the satisfaction of your loved ones looking at you today. Relish the results of your sacrifice, and pay forward the pride and hard work of your teachers. And tomorrow, it will be day one beyond these walls. Thank you so much, and congratulations.
Gracias, Israel. Es un placer presentarles ahora al director del colegio, Mr. Michael Smith.
Thank you, Israel. It is my pleasure to introduce you the director of the school, Mr. Michael Smith, who will now address us.
Good evening and welcome. I know it's a long night. There's a lot going on. It's a little warm, so thank you for your patience. I'd also like to say thank you to Ms. Matlis, Mr. Garcia, Mr. Vercina, and Mr. Benyok. As always, it's nice to see so many familiar faces at this evening, parents, family members, alumni, faculty and staff, and even some former staff, including Ms. Ruth Jessup, who is a long revered and retired teacher from our school, who's very familiar with ceremonies like this. Welcome back, Ms. Jessup. There's two other former faculty and staff here as well that I'd like to introduce. Mr. and Mrs. Stapleton, who are enjoying their retirement. It's great to see you again. So typically at ceremonies like this, the speakers wish to share their thoughts, wisdoms, and some suggestions for your future. Well, this speech is the same. But more about that later. As you can see, this is not a typical Friday evening. Graduation ceremonies like this are taking place all over the United States and in international schools across the globe. Ceremonies like this are filled with traditions, some universal and some unique. Let's look at two universal graduation traditions: caps and gowns and the graduation song, neither of which emanated or came from the United States. Firstly, the gowns which you are wearing this evening, the concept dates back to the 14th century and were used at universities. They resembled clerical robes, as most education and educational institutions were of a religious nature. They were originally used to differentiate townspeople from academics. And they were also used to keep people warm in unheated buildings. So I hope you're feeling a little warm tonight in your cap and gown. Until the 1950s in the US, gowns were traditionally black or gray because color photography was actually quite unusual and rare. There was no concept of a unified color in a school among students. But today, ASV uses blue as the official school color, as well as to demonstrate the unity of the entire graduating class. Caps follow the tradition of what's called a mortar board, a palette used by bricklayers to apply mortar, today's cement, and a theory is that it is square-shaped to denote someone who is a master craftsperson. Another plausible theory, though, is that it is just a way for teachers to make graduates look funny at the graduation in order that we can laugh at you in public before you leave the school. I'll leave it to your discerning minds which seems most plausible or entertaining. Then there's the graduation song, or what is known as Pomp and Circumstance No. 1, a march written by the British composer Sir Richard Elgar and named after a line in Shakespeare's play Othello. It was played at the coronation of King Edward VII in 1901, who requested lyrics for the march, which became the song Land of Hope and Glory. Perhaps we can get Coach Gelati to sing it to us later this evening. Oh, but Mr. McClarty, don't worry, I know your Scottish sentiments. Anyway, Yale University gave Elgar an honorary doctorate in 1905. The song was played at Yale's graduation ceremony. It became popular and was the #1 song on iTunes and Spotify in 1905. A fact which I verified on the internet. So thus ends the history lesson that you may have never learned at ASV, but the story may still need to be fact-checked. Some of the traditions unique to ASV are its numerous awards, the opportunity for faculty and staff to speak, honoring past faculty and staff, and a new tradition that I would like to start with the class of 2025. A donation from each graduate to support the faculty and staff's summer Mediterranean cruise. Expect an email from us soon about where to make that donation. So we have a very nice ceremony planned for this evening, and as these students speak and walk across the stage, they can truly speak from their many years of experiences at ASV. In its long and distinguished 44-year history, this is the second largest graduating class ever with 72 students. Our soon-to-be graduates hail from 19 different countries, speak a myriad of languages, at least 14 by our count, collectively represent 751 years at ASV, the most seniority of any graduating class, and they average 10.43 years each at ASV, something that is unparalleled in most international schools. So well done, class. Like any educational institution, there are numerous people to thank for our school and our students' daily success. Firstly, I'd like to thank our faculty and staff who've done another amazing job of preparing our graduates, and all of our students throughout the year under ever-changing and challenging circumstances. Throughout this year, you remained laser-focused on supporting our students, and this has made all the difference. Thank you always seems to be insufficient, but please know that I and so many others are extremely grateful to all of you for your untiring dedication and commitment to our students, day after day, week after week, month after month, and year after year. I would also like to say thank you to other members of our team, Mr. Ficina, Mr. Benyoc, Ms. Castro, Ms. Cortina, Mr. Albignana, Ms. Bird, Ms. Sabia, Ms. Nunez, Ms. Genosi, Ms. Bereзе, and all of the academic support and counseling staff, the business and office staff, the infirmary staff, maintenance staff, as well as so many others who are the driving forces in our daily success. Additionally, and most importantly, please allow me to say a very special and heartfelt thank you to Mr. Ficina, whom many of us know is an indispensable part of our school and a success in his 30-plus years at ASV, and to whom I owe a personal and huge debt of gratitude. Muchas gracias. I would also like to say thank you to the ASV Board of Governors for their support and for all of their time and energy they dedicate to so freely give to our school. Our Board of Governors, both past and present, are volunteers who are committed to providing the resources necessary for an unparalleled academic experience, coupled with exciting co-curricular activities and updated facilities. Their selfless support of the school and its faculty and staff is commendable as we think and plan for one and only one thing, the sustained excellence of ASV for many years to come. Lastly, I would like to thank all of our parents for their sacrifices, collaboration, and efforts in supporting their child with the opportunity to attend ASV. It has been our privilege to know your child, you, and your family throughout your time at ASV. We are the school of choice in Valencia, and that's because of your sustained commitment and support these many years. So thank you, and muchísimas gracias. And now, the final wisdom-filled message to our soon-to-be graduates. As you prepare to take your leave from the school that you've called home for so many years, my final and simple words are for the young men and women of the class of 225, for whom we all place a great deal of hope in making the world a better place. Firstly, be kind to everyone, everywhere, and at all times. There can never be enough kindness in the world, and it is one of the most contagious and impactful sentiments one person can share with another. It is your obligation, whether in small or large ways, to spread kindness wherever you go. Secondly, be thoughtful. You are where you are today because of the thoughtfulness of others, your family, friends, teachers, coaches, and classmates. Allow your thoughtfulness to serve as a catalyst for change and pay it forward at every opportunity. Thirdly, be yourself and no one else. In a day and age where copies abound, be an original. Be the model for others and be the torchbearer for goodness. As you write the story of your life, do not let anyone else hold the pen. Fourthly, be stubborn about your vision for contributing to a better world. Sadly, too few people have a vision in a time where some believe that they can compensate for it with metrics, lack of creativity, and a simple template. The greatest inventors, entrepreneurs, and leaders throughout history had a vision, and they saw opportunity where others saw obstacles. So be stubborn about your vision and flexible about the details getting there. Lastly, be grateful, a trait that is so often underused. You should not pass a single day without being grateful for what you have. You can and should be grateful for many things. Amongst them, grateful for one another, as you have more things in common than you will ever have differences. Grateful for your teachers, coaches, counselors, learning support specialists, principals, and Mr. Ficino, all of whom have showed compassion at some of the most vulnerable times in your lives as developing learners, thinkers, doers, and global citizens. Grateful for the privilege of living in a country without conflict and with an abundance of food, water, and access to health care. Most importantly, you should be eternally grateful to your parents and family for their love, support, and even the opportunity to attend ASV. For many of you, your parents made this decision for you when you were 2 or 3 years old. So when was the last time you genuinely thanked them for this life-changing opportunity? Don't let that moment pass. I'm not bold enough to say that by being kind, being thoughtful, being yourself, being stubborn in your vision, or being grateful, that all of these attributes will instantly change the world. But they will certainly change you. And you can change the world one person at a time. There's one more call to action that I would like to add. Be in touch. Whether it is as an alumni, a mentor, a future volunteer, speaker at Career Day, returning for ASV Day, or sharing your university and life experiences, we look forward to hearing from you and about your successes. Even as you graduate and leave our school, your memories and shadows will always remain as an indelible mark on our school and on ourselves as educators. Best wishes in your journey. Remember to always make us ASV proud. Thank you.
Thank you, Michael. Ahora es el momento en que el Assistant Director de High School ha de dedicar unas palabras a los alumnos y las familias.
Thank you, Michael. Now the high school assistant director, Mr. Giuseppe Frecina, will dedicate the students and families some words.
Buenas tardes, estimadas familias, autoridades, compañeros y alumnos y alumnas de grado 12. Dejadme empezar mi intervención felicitándoos por haber llegado hasta aquí, después de un camino lleno de obstáculos imprevistos que han incluido una pandemia mundial, unas inundaciones como no habían sido vividas por varias generaciones y, por si no fuera suficiente, un apagón a nivel estatal el día antes de iniciar los exámenes finales y los exámenes de bachillerato internacional. Pero estamos aquí, hemos llegado, estamos celebrando a pesar de todo esta llegada a la meta de una etapa tan importante en vuestra vida y que tanta influencia puede ejercer en las personas que vais a ser en un futuro más o menos inmediato. Los educadores de todo el mundo nos hemos autoimpuesto una obligación suplementaria a la de guiaros en el aprendizaje de los contenidos y habilidades de cada disciplina. Esa obligación añadida consiste en sumar a la formación académica la formación humana. Fijaos el adjetivo que utilizamos para denominarla, humana. Y es que, más allá de los logros científicos, los avances tecnológicos y el desarrollo económico, el progreso de la humanidad se ha fundamentado en la consolidación de los valores éticos que englobamos muy significativamente en el adjetivo humano. Como una de las rutinas habituales en el colegio es repasar el día antes del examen, y hoy es la última oportunidad que tengo de dirigirme a vosotros, dejadme repasar por unos minutos el significado de los valores que el colegio ha adoptado como valores fundamentales en la institución y que creemos que os serán imprescindibles en el examen al cual os presentáis desde mañana mismo. Ya sé que hemos hablado mucho de ellos en los últimos años, pero vale la pena insistir para saber afrontar las preguntas trampa que aparecerán en el examen. Y también porque seguramente será lo más importante que podéis haber aprendido en este entorno. Nuestros care values, que en castellano podemos resumir en dos conceptos: respeto y cuidado. Respeto y cuidado son dos palabras sencillas, dos ideas que podrían parecer menores frente a otras más grandilocuentes como éxito o liderazgo. Pero la capacidad transformadora que tienen sobre el mundo estas dos actitudes, respeto y cuidado, no es comparable a ninguna otra. Respeto equivale a reconocer el valor y la dignidad inherentes en cada individuo, independientemente de su origen, sus creencias, sus fortalezas o sus debilidades. Se trata de entender que cada persona lleva su propia historia, sus propias luchas, sus propios sueños. Se trata de escuchar con la mente abierta incluso cuando no estás de acuerdo. Se trata de reconocer diferentes perspectivas incluso cuando desafían las tuyas. Se trata de reconocer al otro a cualquier otro como un igual. El cuidado es respeto en acción. No es un sentimiento, es un compromiso. Se trata de estar presente para los demás, de ofrecer una mano amiga, un oído atento, una palabra de consuelo. Se trata de mostrar preocupación genuina por el bienestar de quienes te rodean, no solo tus amigos más cercanos, sino tus compañeros de clase, tus colegas, tu comunidad. En un mundo que puede parecer individualista, el acto de cuidar a los demás es un acto radical de humanidad. Es lo que nos une, lo que crea un sentido de comunidad y pertenencia. Es reconocer que todos estamos interconectados y que las luchas y los triunfos de una persona pueden tener un efecto dominó sobre todos nosotros. Cuando te preocupas, no solo eres amable, estás invirtiendo en un mundo mejor, un futuro más compasivo y humano. Pensad en el profundo impacto que podéis tener simplemente mostrando que algo os importa. Un simple gesto de apoyo a un compañero que lucha con una tarea. Una palabra considerada a un amigo que se siente abrumado. Interrumpir una broma cuando se constata que no todos están riendo. Esos actos de cuidado, aparentemente pequeños, son los cimientos de una sociedad verdaderamente empática y solidaria. Son los momentos que realmente nos definen, mucho más que cualquier logro académico o reconocimiento personal. A medida que os embarcáis en vuestros proyectos vitales, os encontraréis con diversos grupos de personas, cada una con sus propias experiencias y perspectivas únicas. Vuestra capacidad para demostrar respeto y cuidado serán vuestros activos más valiosos. Abrirán puertas, forjarán conexiones significativas y os permitirán navegar por las complejidades de la vida con empatía e integridad. En un mundo cada vez más ruidoso, más veloz y más dividido, la capacidad de mirar al otro con respeto y actuar con cuidado es una forma imbatible de liderazgo. El respeto y el cuidado auténtico no son silenciosos ni pasivos, son frutos de una decisión diaria, activa, audaz. Recordad, el mundo no necesita más inteligencia sin conciencia, ni más brillantez sin bondad. Lo que realmente necesita ahora más que nunca son individuos que posean tanta destreza intelectual como un profundo compromiso con la humanidad. Así que, promoción de 2025, al cruzar este escenario y adentraros en vuestro futuro, os invito a encarar este desafío, a ser esa clase de personas, aquellas que no solo buscan ser brillantes, sino también buenas personas, aquellas que escuchan de verdad, que reconocen las emociones ajenas, que saben decir perdón sin que eso las haga pequeñas, que son lo suficientemente valientes para ser amables, que son lo suficientemente fuertes para reconocer sus debilidades, que avanzan sin empujar a los demás y saben cuándo deben esperar y tender la mano. El mundo espera vuestras contribuciones únicas. Id adelante, dejad vuestra huella y construid un futuro que no solo sea exitoso, sino profundamente respetuoso y lleno de cuidado por los demás. Muchas gracias por todo lo que nos habéis dado a lo largo de estos años. Gracias por vuestro humor, vuestra energía, vuestra autenticidad, por el tiempo compartido, por lo que hemos aprendido juntos. Enhorabuena, promoción de 2025. Estamos increíblemente orgullosos de vosotros. Acabados los discursos, pasaremos ahora a hacer entrega de los premios especiales de graduación. En primer lugar, queremos reconocer a todos los alumnos que han acabado 12 formando parte del Honor Roll.
After the speeches, we will turn now to the Graduation Special Awards. First, we want to recognize those students who ended grade 12 in the honor roll.
Estar en el cuadro de honor es un logro excepcional que refleja la dedicación absoluta de estos alumnos y alumnas a la excelencia académica. Significa un compromiso constante con el aprendizaje, el trabajo duro y la búsqueda del reconocimiento. Los alumnos y alumnas en el cuadro de honor han demostrado una disciplina, una determinación y una voluntad de crecimiento intelectual verdaderamente excepcionales.
Being on the honor roll is an exceptional achievement that reflects a student's unwavering dedication to academic excellence. Students on the honor roll have demonstrated exceptional discipline, determination, and a thirst for intellectual growth.
Por favor, subir al escenario cuando digamos vuestros nombres.
Please come on stage when we call your name. Marta Alcázar, Iturralde. Inés Artero Zayas. Leo Bonet Wang. Timothy Jonathan Bowman. Jaime Cambra Costa. Sergio Catalá Moreno. Laura Chía Iborra. Malía Kiva Cortés. Nacho Domínguez Balaguer. Ismael Jiménez Tomás. Patrick Michael McGlynn. Tegan James Moran. Irene Morillas Flores. Ismael Serrano Serrano. Diana Bacaflores Camacho.
Podéis bajar. A continuación entregaremos el premio en el área de arte. Lo entregará la profesora de Dibujo Técnico y Matemáticas, Miss Margot Massina.
Next, we will give the award to the best student in the area of art. Miss Margot Massina, the technical drawing and math teacher, will present the award.
Lo dejo aquí.
Okay. In Miss Jackie's absence, I have the honor of presenting this year's Arts Award. In her words, when you have a small group of students to choose from, it feels as if they should all receive a prize, because each of them shines in their own way. One for their attention to detail and their ability to use diverse materials and techniques. Another for their dedication to the subject, the clarity of their ideas, and the growth they have experienced over the course of the two-year program. One student stands out for their creativity, sense of humor, and ability to mimic and create different styles of artwork. As a class, you are special. It's rare for all students in a group to decide to study arts-related courses after high school graduation, but you did. I am confident that each of you will continue to develop your strengths and self-awareness and excel in the creative arts and design studies fields you have chosen. During the grade 12 exhibition on campus this year, you demonstrated your strengths individually, bringing the atrium to life with color, fantasy, and originality through 3 diverse personal celebrations of the work you created during your last 2 years of high school. So, how do you choose just one student for the ASV Arts Prize? I can tell you it was difficult. After reflecting on all of you, I narrowed it down to 2, and then to 1. I chose a student who is passionate about art, who is able to convey ideas working in numerous styles, who creates visual stories through the compositions they create. I love how this student surprised themselves as well as their teachers with the success of their show. Their exhibition demonstrated maturity in terms of both ideas and skills, mixing humor and cuteness in an exploration of social issues. Throughout the year, I have been impressed by their ability to talk about their work and ideas with clarity and precision. They can justify every mark they make. To top it all off, they created most of their work on a device. Not just any device, but their own phone. Hannah Galik Cernick, this year's ASV Arts Award goes to you. I'm not done. I wish you all the best in your future creative studies, which I'm sure will lead to a creative career.
La team leader del Departamento de Español y profesora de Lengua y Literatura, Miss Estefanía Venegas, entregará el premio al mejor alumno en el área de Humanidades.
The Spanish Department Team Leader and the Spanish Language and Literature teacher, Miss Stefania Venegas, will present the award to the best student in the area of humanities.
Buenas noches, familias, compañeros, directores y a todos los alumnos de grado 12. Esta es una ocasión muy especial para todos nosotros. Celebramos que nuestros chicos, y permitidme a todos los padres presentes que los sintamos un poco nuestros también, terminan su etapa de bachillerato y se lanzan a la aventura de la vida fuera de estas clases y pasillos. Antes de entregar el Premio de Humanidades de este año, me gustaría hacer una breve reflexión. Las humanidades, según la RAE, son el conjunto de disciplinas que giran en torno al ser humano, como la literatura, la filosofía o la historia. Como profesora de lengua y literatura, tengo la oportunidad y la suerte, además, de poder explorar todas estas disciplinas a través de las grandes historias de la literatura que trabajamos en clase. Y es que a partir de la lectura de estas obras hemos viajado a través del tiempo, conocido lugares y culturas diversas, hemos seguido la evolución de la sociedad y su política desde la antigua Grecia hasta nuestro tiempo. Y lo más importante es que hemos podido reflexionar sobre todo lo que ha cambiado y, por supuesto, hemos aprendido que hay valores, creencias, emociones y grandes temas universales que siempre van a ser relevantes en esta u cualquier otra actualidad que vivamos. Este es un propósito que tenemos como docentes, seamos de historia, de arte, geografía, lengua, literatura, filosofía, empresa o economía. Nuestra misión es inspiraros y que hoy os podéis graduar teniendo no solo referencias económicas o históricas, sino también culturales, artísticas, literarias y la visión de nuestro mundo desde una mente mucho más abierta y reflexiva. Sabemos que vais a ser para siempre indagadores, audaces, pensadores y críticos. No puedo pronunciar este discurso sin dedicar unas palabras a todos mis alumnos, a mis chicos. Estoy muy orgullosa de todos y cada uno de vosotros. Ya os echo de menos los miaus, que me vengáis preguntando si hay algo nuevo que contar, daros los buenos días cada mañana o que cojáis a Berta. Por supuesto, Emily también se acuerda mucho de vosotros. Silencio es lo que me quedará sin teneros conmigo en clase. Y aunque me hayáis puesto más de una vez como agua para chocolate, sin vosotros me sentiré tan sola como si tuviera más de 100 años de soledad. Ahora empezáis en punto cero, una nueva etapa y doy como la parra gracias a la vida que me ha dado tanto con vosotros. Os invito a vivir y a buscar el sol tras cada derrota, como los girasoles, y a disfrutar de la metamorfosis que estáis experimentando y que os impulséis sin miedo, sea aquí o hacia donde os lleve vuestro camino, desde Pyongyang hasta México o Egipto, convertidos en los jóvenes adultos que sois ya. Uno de vosotros ha sabido elevar todas estas disciplinas de las que os hablaba al inicio y destacar de entre todos. Es una persona trabajadora hasta decir basta, reflexiva, discreta y extremadamente responsable. No solo eso, ha demostrado una sensibilidad conmovedora, una capacidad de análisis profundo y una escucha activa realmente enriquecedoras para todos los que lo rodeamos. Metódico, perfeccionista, solidario, con una curiosidad abrumadora, ha sido perspicaz y audaz en cada paper one, poema y texto que ha elaborado en mi clase. Ejemplo de alumno, de amigo, de compañero, yo no puedo estar más orgullosa de ti. Por ello, en nombre de todos los miembros del Departamento de Humanidades, es un honor para mí entregar el Premio de Humanidades 2025 a Ismael Segura Serrano.
El premio al mejor estudiante en el área de STEM, Ciencias, Tecnología, Ingeniería y Matemáticas, lo entregará la profesora de Física y Matemáticas, Miss Alina Athanasiadou.
The award for the best student in the area of STEM, Sciences, Technology, Engineering and Math, will be awarded by the Physics and Math teacher, Miss Alina Athanasiadou.
Queridos estudiantes, profesores y familiares, en STEM, ciencia, tecnología, ingeniería y matemáticas, no solo buscamos respuestas, buscamos preguntas, preguntas que nos inviten a seguir explorando el mundo, que lo explican y que a veces incluso pueden mejorarlo. No todo el mundo ama las integrales, las prácticas de laboratorio, las constantes físicas o las reacciones químicas, y lo entendemos. Pero hay estudiantes que no solo las toleran, sino que las buscan, las disfrutan y las discuten por los pasillos. Este premio no se otorga solo a los resultados académicos. Este premio valora la actitud, la constancia y los valores que aporta un estudiante cada día. Este alumno, ante todo incansable, en medio del caos, del estrés y de las preguntas de última hora, se coloca los cascos y se concentra y va encadenando ejercicio tras ejercicio con determinación. Tiene una ética de trabajo que no pasa desapercibida. Ahora bien, nadie dijo que organizarse significase ser aburrido. Este estudiante ha perfeccionado el arte de equilibrar estudio y ocio. Organiza su tiempo entre partida y partida de la Play y en sus descansos de clase están protagonizados por ese juego que ha enganchado a todo el grupo. Porque sí, hasta la concentración tiene su botón de pausa. Pero no queda ahí. Siempre encuentra tiempo y ganas para ayudar a sus compañeros. Es generoso, atento y está dispuesto a echar una mano. Ha aprendido a organizarse, a priorizar y a dejar las cajas de lado, donde realmente tocan, en dibujo técnico. Es también un alumno que se hace oír, que participa, que se expresa con claridad y que no tiene miedo a compartir sus ideas. Lo hace siempre con una sonrisa, con un gracias al salir de clase, incluso después de 3 horas seguidas conmigo, lo cual ya es todo un mérito. El físico Richard Feynman dijo una vez: el premio más grande para un científico no es el resultado, sino el placer del descubrimiento. Cuando uno enseña matemáticas y ciencias, aprende a mirar más allá de los números y de las fórmulas. Aprende a identificar esa chispa, esa curiosidad natural, esa insistencia en entender el porqué y el cómo. Esta tarde tengo el privilegio de entregar el STEM Award a Nacho Domínguez Balaguer. Que ha encendido esas chispas muchas veces, no solo en el aula, sino también en quienes le rodean. Nacho, has demostrado que el rigor y la pasión pueden ir de la mano, que el esfuerzo también brilla y que en cada clase, incluso en las más largas, se puede dejar huella.
La profesora de inglés y coordinadora de la monografía de IB, Miss Kailan Kirali, entregará el premio de inglés, el premio Utopía.
The English teacher and extended essay coordinator, Ms. Kailan Kirali, will present the English Utopia Award.
What does it mean to truly see the world? Not merely to observe, but to understand and recognize patterns in human experience that transcend borders and language barriers. In language and literature, we delve into the nuances of expression through words and images, examining how language shapes our understanding and connects us across borders and boundaries. The Utopian English Award recognizes a student who exemplifies this journey of exploration. Someone who harnesses language not just as a medium of communication, but as a lens for us to see beyond what is to what could be. From our earliest discussions in class, the student approached texts not as static objects, but as living conversations between writer and reader, past and present. When analyzing Margaret Atwood's The Handmaid's Tale, the student didn't simply identify concepts like the structures of personality, Freud's id, ego, and superego. They questioned the character's struggles, asking what the motivations reveal. There was a genuine curiosity in how the character's motivation both reveals past and contemporary anxieties. The student challenged themselves to consider the timelessness of fiction and how it can serve both as a warning and a catalyst for change. This curiosity was only reinforced by the student's ability to inhabit multiple perspectives simultaneously. Their bilingual upbringing gifted them with a natural capacity to move between cultural frameworks, recognizing how language shapes thought. During our deep dive into Chinua Achebe's Things Fall Apart, the student continuously moved between the two clashing perspectives, the indigenous Igbo and the colonial British, finding insight in the moral relativity of the two. What impressed me most was how they could hold these contradictory viewpoints with equal validity, never rushing to judgment, but instead seeking understanding in the complex intersections of culture. Looking back, it's clear that a motif started to emerge. Before me, I had a student hungry to find truth in society by looking at the stories it tells with an open and empathetic lens. The student's thirst for this understanding extended into other facets of their life. Inside school, the student investigated how narratives can offer profound insights into fear and human psychology in their other IB coursework. Whether it be investigating how fear affects an individual's understanding and development of their identity, or looking into historical examples of propaganda to use a narrative to thwart reality. The student's inquiry demonstrated the power stories have to both give voice to the good and the bad. While outside of school, the student cultivated their craft in telling stories through more artistic art endeavors and reminding us of the beauty of a story told on stage, both through the spoken word and through music. This dual approach to storytelling, analytical in academics and expressive in arts, reveals a mind capable of both rigorous examination and creative synthesis. As we prepare to send this remarkable young person into the world beyond our school, I am confident that their authentic voice and global perspective will serve them well. Their capacity to think critically while remaining open to wonder, to analyze rigorously while maintaining empathy, and to speak with conviction while listening genuinely to others are clear marks of someone who will not merely witness the world, but help shape it. In presenting this award, we celebrate not just academic achievement, but a way of being, curious, compassionate, and courageously authentic. Rocío, reminds us that when we truly listen to stories, our own and others, we discover new ways of seeing and engaging with our world, building bridges across differences, illuminating our shared humanity. Congratulations, Rocío Taveras Corral.
El premio al mejor y la mejor deportista lo entregará nuestra coordinadora de ASV Class, Ms. Scarlett Casas, y nuestro athletic director, Mr. Andy Ogelati.
The award to the best athlete will be delivered by our ASV Plus coordinator, Ms. Scarlett Casas, and our athletic director, Mr. Andy Ogelati.
It will move. It's 2 pages. Yes? Yes. Sorry.
Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, esteemed faculty, proud parents, and beloved graduates. Sorry.
Firstly, it gives us a great deal of pleasure to stand before you and salute all of you who have managed to maintain sport and exercise as part of your lifestyle and juggle with everything over the last few years. For some of you, that has meant finding the will to get to the gym. For some, it has meant playing or competing for teams outside of school. For at least one of you, it has meant climbing to the top of your field on a world level. And for those that we recognize tonight, it has meant representing ASV in athletics.
Before we praise our ASV senior student athletes, we would like to pause to celebrate the extra player on every one of our teams, our ASV parents, who have enabled the opportunity for participation, have been there supporting our teams from the sidelines, near and very far from ASV, and have generously supported the athletic program with their time, energy, and more to ensure many students have been able to have unforgettable experiences.
We have had so many of the class of 2025 involved with our teams this year. With incredible results. VIS titles for the girls and boys volleyball, boys basketball, and girls soccer. Iberia Conference wins for boys volleyball and boys basketball. ESC tournament wins for boys and girls soccer, while our boys basketball team were crowned World School Games winners. Outstanding results. Congratulations.
with so much focus on our teams, you can only begin to imagine the challenge of selecting individual winners of the Athletic Scholar Prizes. What does it mean to inspire others?
To motivate, encourage, and uplift them, often with the goal of inspiring them to pursue their own goals or take action. It involves igniting a passion or belief in someone, encouraging them to believe in themselves and their abilities. Inspiration can be a powerful tool for fostering growth, resilience, and positive change in individuals and communities.
The recipients of this year's prize can both leave the building knowing without a shadow of a doubt that they have inspired others. They are held in incredible esteem, not only by their peers, but also by younger students who look up to them with awe.
Although we will get to the point of highlighting their individual qualities, there are a few phrases and words that can be used to describe them both. Kindness, calm leadership, knowledgeable, willingness to be there for their team, incredible humility, and quite simply, outstanding human beings.
The performances of our female recipient have been so impressive at the many international tournaments that she has participated in. Opposition coaches would regularly single her out as the most dominant player in her position across all competing schools. News of her graduation will be celebrated by the same coaches who have run out of ideas of how to get the better of her.
Our male recipient has pushed himself and others around him to drive his team and sport forward in training sessions and in recreational games at park time, always willing to help and encourage others around him. His athleticism and agility have been decisive for his teams.
A cord that ties our winners together is their ability to inspire their teammates and support their coach with inspirational words. In the case of our female winner, this meant that the coach's question at halftime as to whether anyone had something to say was never passed up. Her teammates waited with bated breath to see if she would encourage, share her excellent tactical knowledge, or dish out the bronca that was needed to scare them into action.
In the case of our male winner, his delivery became a ritual. Words of his coach. Every tournament, without fail, starts the same way. The night before, he jumps up on a table and delivers a motivational speech to the team. He did the exact same thing in his very last training session. He climbed on the table again, and this time gave a speech looking back, remembering the journey, and passing the torch to the next captain.
Our two recipients are both outstanding athletes, having each played on 2 varsity sports teams in their senior year. Our female recipient made a bold decision to switch sports, and she never looked back. Her transition was nothing short of extraordinary, resulting in her being the first female team player at ASV to take up an athletic scholarship in the States. And we proudly watch her progress afar at the South Wesleyan University in South Carolina.
Our male winner did not have enough on his plate with training and playing on one team in his senior year and the year before. So he incredibly took up the challenge of being equally committed to 2 sports, captaining and being a dominant player on one team while being the epitome of reliability off the bench in the other.
What is legacy? A long-lasting impact, perhaps. The young athletes following our winners are a living legacy of their impact. They have been lifted, taught, and most importantly, believed in.
Just this week, the world's top soccer goalkeeper, Mary Earps, announced her international retirement. What a loss. In her farewell message, she expressed hope that she had made goalkeeping cool for girls.
Goalkeeping for girls and volleyball for boys have become cool things to do at ASV. Our younger girls don't just want to be goalkeepers, They want to be like the class of 2025 female scholar athlete, Esther Carabaño Barbero.
Wait until we name. Our younger students don't just want to play volleyball. They want to play volleyball. Like the class of 2025, male scholar athlete, TJ Bowman.
El premio a la mentalidad internacional lo entregará el profesor de TOK y coordinador de CAS, Mr. Mark Boyer.
The International Mindedness Award will be presented by the TOK teacher and CAS coordinator, Mr. Mark Boyer.
Good evening, students, families, faculty, and guests. The International Mindedness Award winner has been recognized by the faculty as a student who has been a contributing force of the life of ASV Spirit. Someone who shows the utmost respect for and interest in different cultures and can communicate in multiple languages. A person who could bring people together to collaborate on meaningful projects for meaningful purposes. This year's award winner speaks 4 different languages, German, French, English, and Spanish, and has a family with ties to a variety of international cultures, such as Germany, the USA, France, and now Spain. If I'm not mistaken, she has experienced firsthand multiple cultures by living in a variety of locations around the world. These experiences have no doubt shaped the way she understands people, places, cultures, and traditions. When speaking to her teachers, they all said that she is a quiet leader in class. She likes to help others. She communicates well. She listens well. And one teacher even commented on how profoundly she reflects on her own learning and progress. She is always striving to learn more and isn't afraid to ask how she can become better. She is well-rounded. She has been part of ASV's athletics, switching from the pool to the pitch. Mr. Ogilati said that she grabbed that opportunity to join the soccer team and that she fit right in. Taking that risk to try something new is the ASV way. Her CAS experiences are varied as well. Swimming and soccer, I just mentioned. She participates on the ECHO committee. She co-organized last year's Language Day. She volunteered in the last fall, for Dana Relief, and she's recently taken some pottery classes. She is a friend to all. She is always smiling, and her calm demeanor is something that I have rarely seen in a teenager. To say the least, she is mature beyond her years. If you haven't guessed it yet, this year's International Mindedness Award winner is Romy Bauer.
Nuestro director, Mr. Michael Smith, entregará el premio del director.
Our director, Mr. Michael Smith, will give the Director's Award.
While we have many and numerous outstanding students in our school, and in particular this graduating class, it's always rewarding when we encounter students who serve as positive role models and avail themselves of all the opportunities that an ASV education and experience have to offer. Like many of this student's classmates, this student has attended ASV for many years and knows the school as well as any student can know it. His academic results are exceptional, consistent, and impressive. He has actively participated in numerous school activities as a volunteer, MUN delegate, Deputy Secretary General, as well as participating on athletic teams. He is not a boisterous or loud student, but he is humble, meticulous in his preparation, and one of the most quiet driving forces in his class. He does his talking through quiet action and spectacular results. I had the opportunity and privilege to collaborate with him over the past 2 years through his IB Extended Essay, which was a tour de force of historical scholarly research. He is likely to begin his studies in the Netherlands in the fall, and it will be a genuine pleasure to follow his success. In a school such as ours, where independence, innovation, high performance, and community service are all highly valued, he is an ideal and deserving recipient of this year's award. We are truly grateful for all of his contributions to our school community, and we wish him the best at university and in life. Therefore, it is my privilege to bestow the ASV Class of 2025 Director's Award to Mr. Leo Bonet Wang.
Ahora tendrá lugar la entrega del premio del embajador a cargo del Assistant Principal de High School, Mr. Matthias Benjoc.
Now we'll give turn to the presentation of the Ambassador's Award by me. The Ambassador's Award was established in 1993, 32 years ago, by the U.S. Ambassador to Spain, Mr. Richard J. Capen, Jr. The full name of the award is Ambassador's Award to the Exceptional Leadership, and it is, together with the valedictorian and salutatorian, one of the most important awards in the graduation ceremony. It is given to a grade 12 student who, on top of having an excellent academic record, meets a series of values that makes, like the award says, truly exceptional. The recipient of the award is chosen by voting among the entire high school faculty. Tonight, we celebrate a student who has turned education into an expedition of discovery, leadership into a practice of service, and dreams into blueprints for life. TJ, your journey is a testament to the power of thinking globally and acting locally. Fluent in Spanish and English, you have navigated life between two continents with grace, embracing the best of both worlds, American ambition and European adaptability, gifting you with a global perspective that allows you to see beyond borders, to understand that that, sorry, to understand that diversity is not something we just tolerate, but also something we celebrate and leverage for collective growth. That leadership is not about standing at the front, but walking alongside others, and that success is not about reaching the top, but about how many people we lift on the way up. In our increasingly connected world, that is the type of leader we need. Let me talk a bit more about TJ so you know about him. TJ took high-level courses in mathematics, analysis and approaches, computer science, and business management. So basically, he took the IB program and said, let's make it a bit harder. But these are not just academic feats. These are the foundation of his mission to merge technology and humanity. Struggling with procrastination? Well, he went beyond the IB syllabus and learned 3 coding languages to create TaskFlow, an app designed to help the student focus and manage time more effectively. I might need it later. So notice how he just didn't complain about a challenge. He engineered an answer, proving that true leadership starts with empathy and ends with impact. He reminds us that leadership isn't about titles. It's about the grit to build, the humility to learn, and the view to lift others, to transform what we learn into living impact. And as he demonstrated in Model United Nations events, that leadership is not about being the loudest voice in the room, but about creating spaces where all voices matter. He embodies what I would call leading with humanity in a world of algorithms. Now, education is never merely about crossing finish lines. It's about the questions that keep us awake at night, the failures that teach us resilience, and the moments when we realize that our learning can light the way of others. It's when we know that what we learn is making an impact on people. TJ, you have reminded us all that the true goal of education is not perfection, it's progress, it's growth, is using what we learn to make life just a little bit better for someone else. So wherever your journey leads next, carry this truth. The world needs leaders who build bridges between cultures and disciplines, who view technology as a tool for human connection, and as you understand that real excellence is not measured in trophies or awards, but in lives touched. To all the graduating students, life is not expecting you to know all the answers. You just need to keep making better questions. I know it feels like today you reached the finish line, but let me tell you that your journey is just beginning. As like our honoree, you have the power to turn your education into exploration, your challenges into catalysts, and your dreams into destinations worth pursuing. Enjoy the ride. The High School faculty of the American School of Valencia is proud to give the 2025 Ambassador's Award to the exceptional leadership to Timothy Jonathan Bowman.
Y para acabar la entrega de premios, entregaremos el premio de valedictorian, el alumno o alumna con el mejor expediente académico en high school. El valedictorian además tiene el privilegio de dirigir un discurso de despedida a sus compañeros.
To complete the presentation of awards, we give the valedictorian award to the student who has earned the highest grade highest grade point average in the high school. The valedictorian has the honor of addressing his classmates with a farewell speech.
Como mencionamos anteriormente, también en este caso se han dado circunstancias muy especiales que nos han llevado a conceder 2 premios valedictorian con un empate en una extraordinaria media de 4.16, lo que equivale a un expediente prácticamente perfecto desde noveno a 12avo. Solo estos 2 estudiantes saben realmente las incontables horas de dedicación, esfuerzo y constancia que hay detrás de este logro tan excepcional.
As mentioned earlier, this year we are also facing a very special circumstances that have led us to award 2 valedictorian honors, both tied with an outstanding GPA of 4.16, a result that reflects a nearly flawless academic record from grades 9 to 12. Only these 2 students truly understand the countless hours of dedication, hard work, and perseverance that lie behind that remarkable achievement.
Reciben el premio de valedictorian Leo Bonet Wang e Irene Morillas Flores.
This year, the valedictorian are Leo Bonet Wang and Irene Morillas Flores.
Buenas tardes, familias, profesores, personal de colegio, compañeros y a todos los que habéis formado parte de esta trayectoria. No he parado de pellizcarme estos días, no por nervios ni por inseguridad, sino porque todavía me cuesta creer que estemos aquí. Se siente irreal, como si en cualquier momento fuéramos a despertarnos en clase de biología o saliendo corriendo a Visions. ¿Cómo hemos llegado hasta aquí? ¿En qué momento pasaron los años? ¿Y cómo hacemos para que el tiempo se detenga? Porque hoy no solo acabamos segundo de bachillerato, hoy cerramos una etapa, y no cualquiera, sino una que para muchos de nosotros ha durado toda nuestra vida. Aunque sabíamos que este día llegaría, cuesta asumirlo. Cuesta vernos aquí, siendo los protagonistas de esta ceremonia. Ese día lejano que parecía tan inalcanzable, ya está aquí. Recuerdo cuando estábamos sentados en la alfombra escuchando a Miss Janet leer. Nos emocionábamos por subir de letra de lectura como si fuera la mayor victoria del mundo. O aquellos conciertos de Navidad donde al menos uno siempre iba vestido del color que no tocaba. Y mirábamos a los mayores del cole como si fueran seres superiores. Y ahora somos nosotros esos mayores. La única diferencia es que no nos sentimos así. En mi cabeza, y sé que también en la de muchos de los que estáis aquí, aún tenemos 12 años y nos quedan al menos 5 cursos por delante. Cada año, antes del verano, repetíamos las mismas conversaciones. Hablábamos del miedo al curso siguiente, del nuevo profesor que imponía con solo oír su nombre, Mr. McClarty, Miss Paula. Pensamos que no podríamos, que el año siguiente sería demasiado difícil, demasiado serio, demasiado todo. Y sin embargo, curso tras curso, aquí hemos estado, creciendo, aprendiendo y lo mejor, juntos. Porque la gran mayoría nos conocemos desde siempre. Hemos compartido recreos con bocadillos aplastados en la mochila, partidas de Foursquare más intensas que una final olímpica, excursiones donde lo importante era reírnos y, sobre todo, ser los últimos en subir al bus, exámenes donde el apoyo mutuo era imprescindible y cientos de momentos más que, sin darnos cuenta, nos han unido. Y no todo ha sido perfecto. Hemos tenido nuestras diferencias, nuestros nervios y trabajos en grupo que casi acaban en tragedia. Pero todo eso forma parte del camino, de lo que hemos aprendido, porque al final, juntos hemos aprendido a ser lo que somos hoy. Y justo por eso cuesta tanto dejarlo atrás. Ahora toca mirar hacia adelante, la universidad, los nuevos amigos, las decisiones grandes que parecen demasiado importantes. Y otra vez, ese miedo. Pero si algo hemos demostrado ya es que sí podemos, porque lo importante no es a lo que nos enfrentemos, sino cómo lo hacemos. No son las metas, sino la actitud con la que las perseguimos. Que no dejemos nunca de esforzarnos y que sigamos buscando superarnos cada día. Ahora me gustaría dar las gracias a quienes nos han acompañado en este viaje.
Gracias al equipo de Enfermery, Miss Inma, por ser desde siempre ese lugar de consuelo. Gracias al equipo de comunicación, por siempre capturar nuestros mejores momentos. Gracias, Miss Vero, por compartir con nosotros los lunch, por tu cariño y tu atención a nuestros sueños. Gracias a todos nuestros profesores, por implicaros más allá de la asignatura, por enseñarnos a ser personas, por preocuparos, por conocernos, por exigirnos y por tener paciencia. En especial, gracias a Miss Alina y a Miss Irma. Miss Alina, nuestra advisor favorita. Hemos pasado más tiempo contigo que con casi cualquier otra persona estos 2 años. Gracias por tu cercanía, por tu apoyo constante. Al final, aquellos miércoles que parecían interminables se nos han quedado cortos. Y gracias, Miss Irma. Gracias por haber hecho sacar mi mejor versión. Eres mi inspiración científica. Te admiro y me siento afortunada por haber aprendido contigo. A mi familia, gracias. Adri por aguantar mis días intensos y mis delirios de estudio. Abuelos, por vuestro apoyo constante. Abuela Irene, por ser mi mayor fan, por traerme y recogerme, por hacer siempre todo lo posible por verme feliz. Eres la mejor. Y sobre todo, gracias mamá, gracias papá. Sin vosotros no estaría aquí hoy. Gracias por enseñarme a ser quien soy sin miedo alguno. Por darme las herramientas, valores y fuerza necesarias para enfrentarme a la vida. Por enseñarme que el esfuerzo vale la pena, que todo se trabaja, pero que si quiero, puedo. Os admiro muchísimo. Gracias por ser mi ejemplo, mis referentes y por hacerme sentir que siempre tendré un hogar seguro al que volver. Y gracias a vosotros, mis amigos y compañeros de selectivo. Gracias por todos los momentos inolvidables. Las cenitas con Elena, Pablo e Ismael, los shows rutinarios de los chicos en cada lunch, las charlas de viernes de helado y esas anécdotas que gracias a vosotros se convertían en carcajadas. Como perder 3 veces el bus del cole y acabar yendo en tren. Formar parte del grupo de selectivo y de los biólogos ha sido increíble. Gracias por las bromas, incluso las pesadas, por los momentos de estrés compartido, por estar ahí en el día a día, unidos. He de decir que sobre todo cuando había que conseguir negociaciones para cambiar el día de examen. Hemos sido un gran equipo. A vosotras, Elena, Sebastián, llevamos juntas de la guardería. Y estoy segura de que así va a seguir muchísimo más. Eres mi persona vitamina. Das luz, contagias alegría y siempre estás. Cualquiera que te conozca aquí hoy puede confirmar lo especial que eres. Gracias. Elena Minuesa, lo das todo por las personas que quieres y por suerte yo he acabado siendo una de ellas. Estos 2 últimos años lo hemos vivido todo. Risas sin control, lloros, locuras, felicidad y cansancio. Pero lo hicimos juntas y por eso valió la pena. Nunca dejes de crecer en ti, porque yo no voy a dejar de hacerlo. Gracias por estar siempre. Y Alejandra, nuestras vueltas en bus han sido únicas. Sin decirlo, sabíamos cuándo tocaba charlas y cuándo tocaba silencio total. Aunque vale, puede que alguna vez me haya dormido antes que tú, solo alguna. Era como si estuviese pactado. Esas pequeñas rutinas que sin saberlo se vuelven esenciales. Y ahora sí, dejo de recordar todo lo que nos llevamos y todo lo que cuesta dejar atrás. Porque sí, duele cerrar esta etapa, pero también emociona. No hay nada más bonito que acabar algo sabiendo que lo has vivido de verdad, que lo has sentido y que te ha marcado. Ahora empieza nuestra siguiente aventura. Ciudades distintas, caminos diferentes, decisiones grandes. Da vértigo, claro, pero también despierta ilusión, porque todo lo que hemos compartido no desaparece, se queda con nosotros, en la forma que vivimos y en quiénes somos. Y aunque cada uno siga su rumbo y construya su propio camino, hay algo que nunca cambiará. Este lugar, este grupo, esta historia que nos une, siempre será parte de nosotros. Gracias por tanto y sobre todo, gracias por haber crecido conmigo.
Good evening, esteemed teachers, staff, students, and parents. We have finally concluded our journey in IB and ASV as a whole. Given this opportunity, I want to reflect upon these past 2 years and my whole experience here at ASV. Let me start by asking a question. Does anyone know how much time we spent preparing and studying for the IB? Well, over the past 2 years, there have been roughly 330 school days. On those days, we likely spend an average of 7 hours studying, both in and outside of school. Then, considering the 250 non-school days, weekends, and holidays, where we probably average around 3 hours of study time, it brings us to a total of about 3,000 hours. That's 128 full days or 4 months of solely dedicating ourselves to studying. To put that into perspective, in 128 days, you could walk around the moon once. You could perform any skill at an advanced level or even perhaps become a millionaire. So in summary, we have spent a considerable amount of time in our education and school for the past 2 years. As Seneca once said, it is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it. Having just gone through everything, at first, I felt that I might have wasted a part of my life, but in reality, looking back, time was not wasted. It just turned into something else, my memories. During my time here at ASV, I was able to create some of my best memories. Ever since I came here in 4th grade, which was 9 years ago, I was able to meet new and amazing people, which allowed me to enjoy the process of growing up. Whether it was playing football, video games, or basketball, I truly see how much they have meant to me when I think retrospectively. However, during the past 2 years, although it was much more stressful than the earlier years, I've created some of my more vivid memories. In the 11th grade, I'll always remember the morning sun when my friends and I would play rounds of 1v1 basketball right before advisory. And also in 12th grade, I cherish the moments where we played volleyball during breaks despite it only lasting for 30 minutes a day. It was the main thing that I was looking forward to for a while and acted as a leeway for me to escape the stressfulness of IB. Now, having shared what's on my mind, I want to express my gratitude and appreciation. Firstly, I would like to thank my teachers, Ms. Castro, Mr. Landete, Ms. Maria Jose, Mr. Munoz, Ms. Pardo, and Ms. Peters for your patience, guidance, and support throughout the hardships of the past 2 years. Also, I'd like to thank Ms. Kay, Mr. Boyer, Mr. Smith, Ms. Veronica, Mr. Ballester, and Mr. Fahi for the support they've given, providing invaluable lessons beyond academics that have helped me in becoming a better person. Lastly, special thanks to Mr. Alex and the staff at the high school library for having us almost every day for the past few months. The space helped us out immensely. Next, I would like to show my gratitude to my friends, as they are the ones who made this journey worth taking. I'm especially grateful for TJ, Tegan, Ismail, Patrick, Sergi, and Santi. We have gone through so much together that I can't express it in words. It was you guys who made me the person I am today, constantly feeling inspired to continue pushing myself to be better. So I want you guys to know that I really appreciate having you guys around these years. Also, I want to give a special thanks to Pablo, Ale, Nicola, and Alexander for playing video games with me. It was so much fun having you guys around. Also, I would like to give a special thanks for the people that started with me in 4th grade, Jordi, Vicente, Marcos, and also recently Pablo Soto for being there. It was very fun in the classrooms, especially when he was really sleepy. And as I said, my gratitude towards my friends goes beyond words, as you are the ones that added color in my world. There are many more that I would like to thank, so please know that this message was also for you. Finally, most importantly, I want to express my gratitude towards my parents that have supported me throughout my life and have continued to support me when I was going through hardships, and even when I was acting unreasonable at times. I owe you more than words can say. Lastly, as we move into the next chapter of our lives and into the real world, as to say, I'd like to leave you with a final thought. We often move through life unaware of invisible barriers that subconsciously suppress us, whether it may be traditions, institutions, or well-established systems. These systems ultimately shape how we think, what we believe, and even what we dare to dream, as it is the only thing we are exposed to. But history reminds us that progress occurs when individuals have the courage to question what seems obvious and seek for the truth. For those familiar, the story of heliocentrism is a clear example of this. People challenge their own faith and the supposed reality, facing the unknown. Their example reminds us that truth is not always comfortable. So as you go forward, I encourage you to build conviction, to seek out the truth, and remember how you don't always need to conform. Although it's finally time to say goodbye to ASV, I'm excited for what lies ahead. As Heraclitus once said, there's nothing permanent except change. This may be the end of a chapter, but it is the beginning after the end. This marks not just the end of my speech, but my final moment as a student here at ASV. I wish each and every one of you the very best in the journey ahead. Thank you, and have a wonderful evening.
Acabada la entrega de premios y antes de proceder a la entrega de diplomas, queremos hacer un pequeño alto en el camino y dedicar un momento especial para rendir homenaje a 4 docentes que este año se despiden del colegio tras dedicar una parte muy significativa de su vida profesional al ASV. Su vocación, compromiso y entrega han dejado una huella profunda en generaciones de estudiantes y compañeros. Es un honor para nosotros reconocer su trayectoria y agradecerles con todo nuestro cariño los años compartidos. Para ello damos paso ahora al director.
With the awards ceremony now concluded, and before we proceed with the presentation of diplomas, we would like to pause for a moment to pay tribute to 4 teachers who are retiring this year after devoting a significant part of their professional lives to ASV. Their vocation, commitment, and service have left a lasting impact on generations of students and colleagues. It is an honor for us to recognize their careers and to thank them with a heartfelt appreciation for the years we have shared together. I now invite the director to lead this special recognition.
Before I proceed to recognize these 4 very special educators, I'd also like to go slightly off script. And I'm really impressed by how many ASV alumni have come back to this ceremony. Could all of you who are alumni please stand up, please? It's great to see you back home. Come on. There you go. Including staff, and faculty and staff who are alumni, please stand up. Thank you for coming back. Thank you for sharing your experience with us. And I'm sure all of you have great memories when you were in a similar situation a few years ago or several years ago, as the case may be. Our school is truly blessed with a dedicated, committed, caring, long-serving faculty and staff. As an international school, we have one of the lowest faculty staff turnovers in international education that results in bonds not often seen in other international schools. In 2021, we established a new graduation tradition that honors our faculty and staff who are retiring from ASV, along with acknowledging their incredible and selfless dedication to our students in our school. As the saying goes, all good things must come to an end. And so it is with the illustrious careers of these faculty members who have earned the opportunity to call an end to their educational careers and retire. Collectively, these 4 faculty members represent 124 years of service at ASV. They have taught from PK3, what used to be PK1, okay, to grade 12 and most grade levels in between. They have taught literally thousands of students and touched the lives of all with whom they have come in contact. It's always bittersweet to bid farewell to well-respected educators, valued colleagues, and treasured friends. But the inevitable laws of nature and governments provide all of us some time and the opportunity to say farewell and look forward to a well-deserved rest from the rigors of the academic calendar, preparing classes, grading homework and tests, communicating with students and parents, organizing activities and excursions, as well as staying abreast of the latest educational practices. So it is an immense privilege and honor to recognize 4 faculty members who have served our school community through virtually the entire history of ASV. Ms. Paula Gould, Ms. Christina Hoffray, Mr. Robert McClarty, and Ms. Julia Dominguez. Ms. Gould, who is not able to be here with us this evening, began her career at ASV in 1985. Think about that. What were you doing in 1985 while Ms. Paula was teaching in our preschool? Calm, quiet, and with infinite patience, she has taught multiple generations of young students, some of who are sitting here today as parents and educators. Then we have Ms. Hoffray, who began at ASV in 1987 and has taught social studies at all levels of secondary. Her contagious smile has welcomed secondary students for 38 years in both IB and PCE programs, what used to be called selectividad. Always joyful, never bashful, and always impeccably respectful, her presence in the classroom, hallways, and school have been memorable for all who've had the good fortune of knowing and learning from her. Mr. McClarty is an institution in middle school where he has taught for 32 years. Whether it's prancing around in a skirt or what he likes to call a kilt, convincing grade 6 students to explore their inner dancer with Scottish reels, or chaperoning the legendary grade 6 trips, he has left an indelible mark on his students, colleagues, and the school. Ms. Dominguez has been an exciting presence in elementary since 2010, teaching Spanish and Valencian with passion, a model of care and understanding, always smiling and laughing, and supporting local traditions such as Fallas for 15 years. We are indeed fortunate that educators like Ms. Julia do more than just teach. They form lasting bonds with students that transcend beyond the ordinary. As we recognize these legendary faculty members, mere words cannot express how much they have contributed to the students, our school, as colleagues, and as friends. However, it is time for them to enjoy the fruits of a well-deserved retirement in a few more weeks. And this will be the last official graduation ceremony they will attend as ASV faculty members. In closing, it is an honor to call them colleagues and an even greater privilege to call them friends. Therefore, please join us in celebrating the extraordinary dedication, commitment, and achievement of Ms. Paula Gould, Ms. Christina Hoffray, Mr. Robert McClarty, and Ms. Julia Dominguez as they begin the next chapter of their exciting lives away from ASV. We will truly, truly miss them and wish them a lifetime of happiness, good health, and immeasurable joy. Please come to the stage. Please come to the stage.
Ahora vamos a efectuar la entrega de los diplomas a nuestros alumnos de grado 12. La directora técnica del Sistema Español, Miss Cristina Sevilla, tiene el honor de llamar a los alumnos, uno por uno, como alumnos del ASV por última vez.
Now we will commence with the awarding of the high school diploma. The Spanish System Technical Director, Ms. Cristina Sevilla, has the honor of calling the students one by one to the stage for the last time as ASV students.
Buenas noches, muchas gracias por haber venido, gracias a las familias. Enhorabuena, chicos, gracias a mis compañeros y sobre todo quiero dar las gracias a la gente que no estáis viendo, que son el equipo de IT, mantenimiento, las chicas de la Office que llevan todo el día por aquí y la gente de Colovisa que está ahora mismo en cocina limpiando y que está trabajando para que vosotros disfrutéis mucho. Bueno, de acuerdo. Vamos uno por uno. Ahora es la última vez que voy a decir vuestros nombres como estudiantes, pero no como parte de esta familia. Así que si alguien de aquí, alguna familia, ve que no estás preparado, me podéis decir, Cristina, no lo digas, y yo no lo digo. Okay, if you think that you are not ready, tell me. Miss Cristina, don't say the name of my child, and I will not. No worries. Ready? First one, Marta Alcázar Iturralde. Candela Alonso Gallego. Santiago Alvarado Piza. Sogan Angali. Héctor Aparicio Giner. Inés Artero Zayas. Roman Bauer. Vicent Alexander Bayarri Javier. Jordi Hugo Dolo. Nacho Domínguez Balaguer. Cayetana Eulogio Ale. Manel Ferrer Miralles. Sergio Ferreres García. Diego Forné Bustamante. Hanna Galik Sertsnevik. Clara Galíndez Aguilar. Buyan Gao. Pablo García Alemani. Marina García Bernal Vila. Mar Gasco Ibars. Ismael Jiménez Tomás. Carmen González Mondejar. Domokos Grepali. Vincent Grunbuhel. Carlota Aya Julián. Roderick Yarin Jr. Alex Jiménez Carrillo. Daniel Negrete Alamán. Nicola Ivanov Parapanov. Alejandro Parisi Muñoz. Enzo Pedrosa Caliquein. Nirvana Pin Valverde. Claudia Ponsoda Urraca. Mauro Sánchez Carrió. Elena Sebastián Casalvázquez. Ismael Segura Serrano. Pablo Juan Soto Gómez. Rocío Tavares Corral. Alba Tamarit Sánchez. Mireia Torres Plasencia. Mauro Torrijo Marco. Diana Bacaflores Camacho. Carlos Vidal Menéndez. Alexander Zaloguín. Raquel Zamstra Sánchez. Amsidu San.
Felicidades a todos. Congratulations to all. Now we come to your last moment as a student of ASV and the first as graduates of the American School of Valencia. Class of 2025, please stand. Pass your tassel from your right side to the left. In the name of the American School of Valencia, I confer upon you the title Graduates of the Class of 2025. Congratulations. La ceremonia ha terminado. Podéis pasar a tomar el vino de honor en el Parque C, pero alumnos y alumnas, por favor, esperad para que tomemos vuestra foto de graduación. This concludes our ceremony. Please join us for a reception in the honor of the class of 2025. Students, please wait for our graduation photo. Thank you very much.